Happy.
All right, you ready to move to the next caller?
Yes, I will be in a good mood all day now.
Let's talk to Shane in Utah. Shane, you're live with Eric and V. How you doing?
All right. How are you doing, Eric? V?
Doing good.
Wonderful. I'm waiting for the caffeine to kick in. I feel like I'm going a little bit slow.
I'm with you, man. I'm with you, brother. I have to have a pod every day.
Right? Right? Oh, those addictions. But what do you want to talk about?
It is one of those vices.
What would you like to talk about today?
Well, I wanted to kind of... I've been introduced to your little talk show that you got going on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
By a brother of mine, and it was Brandon. I'm sure you've talked with him, and I watched last week's episode. And first off, I want to say to that Jehovah's Witness, Lloyd Evans, if he's listening, I'm sorry that what you dealt with as a Jehovah's Witness, because I was raised as a Jehovah's Witness as well. So I understand the religiosity of people and how religions have literally destroyed cultures, and I am so far against religion as a whole. However, I still know that there's a God. And
how?
How?
How do you know?
Because of this one thing that I call energy in motion, and it's the ultimate energy in motion, and it's called love.
Okay, that would be redefining love. If you want to call
what
love...
would be redefining love?
Well, so love is what we call a subset of characteristics, right? When someone is in love...
They call it emotion.
We would... Well, that's true of all emotions, isn't it? Right? When you get angry,
stand for?
When you get angry...
What does emotion stand for?
Hold on a second. We agree that when you get angry, that will trigger it can trigger a fight or flight response, right? And there are different things that happen to your body. It can dump adrenaline. In the same way, being in love, your brain is setting off all of these different chemicals that feel good. And there are different things that we see people do when they're in love that can kind of point toward that being the case. When you talk about ultimate energy, are you talking about
love?
Ultimate love?
Mm-hmm.
Where did the energy go? Are we still talking about energy? That? Are we still using energy as a word? Okay. Just checking.
Okay.
Emotion is energy in motion. That's why they call it emotion.
No.
Oh, no.
No, that is not. But a quick search through etymology.
You understand the root word of...
I mean, have you done... Because we can do an etymological root lookup and go through. I think V's pulling that up right now. What do we got?
Let's see. Denoting a public disturbance, apparently, mid-16th century French, based on to move or to excite. Nothing here about energy.
Move. That's an action. That's a moving. That's a movement.
Okay.
Science has confirmed God in my mind when you look at the energy of love.
Okay, Shane, hold on a second. Hold on. No, you said something that I'm going to pin you on first. And the thing I'm going to pin you on is you said, in my mind, science has confirmed a thing. That cannot be true. Either it is true or it is not. And that has nothing to do with what's in your mind. Sure. 2 + 2 = 4. If I said, in my mind, 2 + 2 = 5, would that be true for me? In my mind, 2 + 2 = 5.
It depends upon who taught you what 2 + 2 was. Perception is reality, my friend.
No, definitions are what we use to describe reality, Shane. And we settle on those definitions.
Would you agree with me that somebody's reality 100 years ago is completely different than somebody's reality today?
No.
No?
No. Now, if you want to talk about...
the Old West, or, let's see, 100 years ago.
No, you're moving the goalposts all over the place, Shane. We're talking about physics, right? I'm talking about a world where we breathe oxygen, where we need to eat to survive, right? Those things are still true, and they were true back then. If you're talking about culture changing, what the fuck does that have to do with love? I don't know why we've moved so far away.
What does that have to do with love? Okay, now, love. Love is in everything, is it not?
No, it is not.
So you don't think that animals love each other?
That's not what you said. Try again.
I said love is in everything.
Right. Is love in rocks?
You can see love in everything.
Is love in this coffee mug that I'm holding?
It sure is.
Can I test it for love?
Happy with the coffee that's in it. It's an energy. It creates happiness.
Shane, no, dude. You need to actually settle on a thing and quit equivocating. You're equivocating, Shane.
That's what you don't understand.
No, you're equivocating and you're changing things to fit your narrative, and that is not okay.
How am I changing? No, I'm...
Sure, I brought up a coffee mug. You're saying it excites me, therefore energy, therefore love. What the fuck is that? I mean, that means nothing, Shane.
It's called a circle.
No, bring up, let's talk about love. Do you understand what love is?
Do I what?
Do you understand what love is? How about just emotion? Okay, what is emotion?
What is emotion?
Yes.
It is energy and motion.
Okay, can you have emotion without a thinking being?
Can you have emotion without a thinking being?
Right, without a living thing to feel.
No, you can't.
Okay, can you have energy and motion without a living thinking being?
No, you can't.
People are living things.
What?
Oh, wait.
So you're saying that that things wouldn't exist, like energy and motion would not exist without us to perceive them?
Okay, do you believe in Einstein?
I think you might be a troll at this point, Shane.
No, I'm serious. Do you believe in Einstein?
No, you were going to finish this topic before you change the subject. We're going to finish this.
I'm going back.
No, you're changing. You're moving the goalposts. You're all over the place, Shane. Let's continue. I asked you a question. Does energy and motion exist without a mind to perceive it?
Yes.
Okay. So you said energy and motion can exist without a mind to perceive it, and yet you said energy and emotion is. You're saying it's both contingent and not contingent on a living, thinking being. That's saying that your definition
you asked me about
is bad. Your definition.
Feeling emotion. No, hold on a second. Your first question was asked me about feeling emotion without a thinking human being. No, you cannot feel emotion without a thinking human being. But can there be energy and motion without a thinking human being? Yes.
Shane, dude, I don't know what to tell you, man. We are so far off so for us to have a meaningful discussion, we need to first agree on what definitions of words are, right?
Okay, let's talk about the love I'm talking about is agape love, because there's several editions. There's several.
Agape. No, because we have not.
Agape?
No, Shane, we haven't agreed on what love is or what emotions are. So why would we continue to add on to this pile of?
What do you think love is then? Let me ask you what
I told you. Were you listening?
I'm more than willing to hear it now, because I haven't heard you say what you think it is.
Yes, you did. I said it at the top of this call.
Okay. Well, then please repeat it, please.
Sure. No worries. Love is a subset of characteristics that we see when someone describes love. So when we talk about love, we can usually boil that down to a certain subset of things that people do. Now, that's not always the case, and it can be very dependent on culture. But what's not dependent on culture is the fact that your brain is sending out all of these feel-good chemicals that you start to attach to that person, that you find yourself thinking about them all the time. And culturally, we here in the West have a lot of different ways that we show that. There are tons of indicators toward what we would call love, right? It's that subset.
Okay, so show me the love that is strong enough to die for somebody else.
Tell me how that matters at all to what I said, and I will.
Because God is love.
You're absolutely changing the conversation. Try again.
No, I didn't. I said
yes,
I would
you are.
Show to you that God
Shane, this is your last
love
time, and if you can't stay on topic, we're going to hang up.
Is love not the topic that I started with?
You're moving around. You're talking about agape.
You're trying to sneak things in. We're not letting you sneak things in.
I am. I'm okay. When I said love, I'm sorry that your definition and your perception of what I said love, when I said love, you didn't understand that I was talking about the agape love.
I don't give a shit.
I
don't care, Shane.
When I said love, you were looking at the emotional love between a husband and a wife.
No.
How do you know what?
To a parent and a daughter.
Okay,
or,
Shane.
A parent and a son.
Shane. I said it is a subset of descriptors that we put out. Would you agree with me that is the definition, or can we come up with another one? I'll pull up the dictionary definition. How about that?
Okay. All right.
Making for great TV, but an intense feeling of deep affection. Can you have feelings or affection without thinking living beings?
Yeah, feelings. You just asked me if you can have feelings.
Feelings and affection.
An intellectual human being.
Yes, to feel them.
Does it not take a consciousness to feel?
Why don't you answer the goddamn question, Shane? Because
I did.
No, you didn't. Try again. Yes or no?
Okay,
can you feel affection and feelings without a thinking living being to feel them? Yes or no?
They could be there.
No, they can't.
Why can they not?
Because you're going to need to show it. You're making a claim. The claim that you're making is that feelings exist outside of the brain, outside of a body. Where have you seen that? Where have you discovered that? That is the claim that you're making right now, Shane. And yes, the null position is that is not the case.
No, I'm making a claim of love. You're being the
okay, Shane. I'm done.
I think we're good.
Yeah, no, fuck that. He's dropped. I tried.
Yeah, he did too. I think he just failed miserably.
I don't understand. And you know what? I get this. And the reason I brought this, I'm sure I'm going to look at the live chat and people are going to be like, please go on to the next call. The reason why it's important is because I see this, and I saw this when I was in church, is people would obfuscate so that they can continue to say whatever ridiculous things, and it's not just in religion. You see this with people saying the word quantum all of the time.
All the time.
Right?
Yes.
And also, I've seen it with Deepak Chopra and in Jordan Peterson talks. Come at me. Not in all of them, but there's been enough equivocation that absolutely obfuscates from the conversation, so that you don't really have an understanding. But man, it felt so deep. No, I don't care. Right? I think a great teachable moment right now is deepity. Right? A deepity is a thing that sounds absolutely deep and has no substance to it. I call it having, it's all carbs.
It's all carbs.
It's useless. It's wasted carbs. There's no meat in it. And what Dennett would say is, as an example, because I think Dennett coined the term, right?
Which term?
Deepity.
I thought it was Colbert. But that might be truthiness.
I think that's truthiness. So when Dennett would bring that up, I saw a talk on YouTube. He said, love is just a feeling. Ooh, so deep. What does that mean? Mm-hmm. You can sit and you can wax poetic about it, and that's fantastic. But if you're trying to use that as a descriptor or a way to talk about the world, you're not going to go very far.
Oh yeah, there's an entire dialect that a lot of Christians use to talk to each other, and I've noticed this happen with certain family members as they become more and more ingrained in certain denominations. That I'm having trouble understanding what they're saying now because they have the way of talking that I'm just so detached from at this point. Just for future callers in, maybe try translating that a little bit, because I think that might help.
Well, it's interesting. He said agape love.
Oh, the second no.
That's totally a thing.
It's a thing, but it also has a very distinct definition, which is why we use it.
It does. And when we were in church, I remember agape love was describing love without any, it's endless. It's permanent. You are always loved. It is this thing that cannot be taken from you, that is given to you. And the only character able to give you that kind of agape love is God. Is that about
right? Yeah.
Yeah. Did you have a slightly different definition, or?
It was just, I think my church was a little bit more about the whole, like, it's not sexual.
Fair enough.
So it was romantic love and agape love. And
okay.
You can have agape love for things that you don't feel any sexual inclinations towards.
Oh.
And I think it was very much about,
okay.
God is not a sexual thing. Do not put any kind of sexual emotions on this relationship at all.
Oh, how interesting. Yeah, when we talked about it, it was this perfect endless love.
Interesting.
And, when he was talking about agape love, the idea that there's this eternal, non-contingent emotion, I think it cheapens the concept of love. Mm-hmm. I think that caring for another person is something deeply personal and important and wonderful and amazing, and something that we should cherish. And when you have a relationship with someone, you build that relationship. To cheapen it that way, and especially to say that God has it. If you have this loving creature that is ever present and watching his children die, in third world countries, watching as people suffer, watching as these horrible illnesses and parasites, destroy those people that they love. I don't want that kind of love. It's horrendous. So no.